Buzz Bissinger, author of Friday Night Lights and much more. He's a Pulitzer Prize winner, and he's out with a very personal, touching, often challenging new memoir. It is called Father's Day, a journey into the mind and heart of my extraordinary son. In it, he writes about a cross-country road trip he took with his son, Zach, several years ago. Buzz Bissinger, good morning.
Good morning.
Take me back to 1983 first, because this is when your twin sons were born. Jerry first.
Jerry first. In many ways, this book is about 3 minutes. Jerry was the first one out by 3 minutes. Zach was the second one out, obviously 3 minutes later. They weighed 1 pound 14 and 1 pound 11 ounces at birth. At that point, male twins that size generally did not survive. They both did survive. Jerry, by some miracle, had no residual effects. Zach had some oxygen deprivation to the brain and suffered some trace brain damage.
Jerry is now a graduate student. He's getting his PhD. He's going to be a teacher. He is successful. You had a lovely relationship with him growing up. Zach, the relationship was more complicated. Tell me about it.
Well, you know, I always loved Zach, and we loved each other, but it was much more complicated. You know, we live through our kids. Fathers live through their sons. And I was deprived of all that. I knew that at the very beginning. You know, you want them to play baseball. You want them to go to Harvard. You know, you live through your kids. You want to see them succeed. And there always was this gulf between Zach and myself. I had never really had a real conversation.
Because you knew that Zach would never be able to do a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, Zach, even now, as much as he has progressed, he's not going to live alone ever in his life. He's not going to marry. He's not going to drive a car. I don't know if he'll ever kiss.
What led you to take this trip in 2007?
As much as I love Zach, I really didn't think I knew him. There were moments in my life, and I admit to this in the book, it's very honest, where I gave up. I let go of him. I just couldn't deal with his silences. I couldn't deal with that gulf. And I wanted to get to know him, and we had 2 weeks open. And I wanted to do something special and different and intimate, and I came up with this idea of driving cross country, which is something I love. That
said, you're very open about, even as you took this trip together, father and son, about your frustrations.
Yes.
They didn't go away. They haven't gone away.
No, they haven't. I mean, a lot of them have. Some of them never will. I mean, there are still many moments where I look at Zach and I feel guilt. Somehow it's my fault. He seems so close, yet so far. I think of all the things in life that he will never be able to do.
There's some very tough passages in this book. Not only you speaking very candidly about how you feel about your son and your potential failings as a father, but also some of these conversations with Zach.
Yes.
You recorded all of this.
Yes.
And you had these conversations with him.
Yes.
What were the most complicated ones?
Look, Zach is different. Millions of parents have children who are different. We all handle it differently. I felt on this trip it was important for me to tell Zach what he was like, not out of cruelty, because I believe in that. And I wanted to see how much he knew about himself. And I remember it was on the Indiana Toll Road, and I said, Zach, do you know what brain damage is? And he said, yes. And I said, what is it? He says, well, something's not right with my brain. And I said, well, how? He said, I can't go to school. I can't go to college like Jerry does. I was gratified that he knew. I was surprised that he knew. But, you know, when you hear your child say something's not right with your brain, it's crushing. It just is crushing. And just the way he said it, there was a certain sadness when he said it.
You say he comprehends. He's 24 now. He comprehends an 8 or 9-year-old.
Yeah, I mean,
level.
It's scattered, but pretty much an 8 to 10-year-old level, and that's always been that way.
The most striking part of the trip for you?
Well, there was a moment. The trip was very rough at the beginning. I was pretty stressed. He confessed to me during the trip that he hates to drive, which is something of a problem when you're driving. Yeah. He wanted to fly. But then we went to an amusement park. He loved amusement parks, and we went on this bungee jump, basically. We got dropped from a 158-foot crane. I didn't want to do it. He made me do it, and I was really pissed off, and I was really trying to talk him out of it. And plus, he wouldn't pull the ripcord. I had to pull the ripcord. And we dropped, and we plummeted, and it was euphoric, and we're holding each other, and it's spiritual, and it's the most physically close I have ever felt to him, and we were bonded into one, and it was absolutely beautiful.
One of those moments frozen in time that you'll never forget. Happy Father's Day to you.
Well, same to you. Thank you.
Buzz Bissinger, always a pleasure.
Pleasure.